Okay, at number 7, I'm sure you're all familiar with this one, Final Fantasy VI. This is one of the, I guess, earliest RPGs that I ever played. I mean, I guess there were some other things like Times of Lore for the Commodore 64, but I don't know if you can really count that in that. Usually when I think of some of the first real RPGs I ever played, this is one of the ones that comes to mind. And damn is it a good one. Really just, wow, this was a huge leap from all the previous Final Fantasy games. Both graphically and just technically. I mean, everything about this game was really a leap forward when it came out. The graphics for the time were amazing. The story is great. Really pretty cool characters too. They're all pretty unique and memorable. Really good villain too. That I think anybody who played through this game, I'd say that's one of the memorable parts of this. I also like how they really took time to develop the characters' backstories. I thought that added a lot to the experience. It made you more sympathetic, I guess, to their plight. Not really sure what else to say about this game. I mean, if you haven't played it by this point, you're probably not gonna play it. I mean, this game's been out for a while now. I'm pretty sure that if you like this game, you already know it. I don't need to tell you. Even so, I really couldn't just skip this. I couldn't take it off of the list because, I mean, it had a pretty big impact on me. I mean, this was really the game that really propelled me into the RPG world. I guess when I really think about how much I love RPGs, it really all kind of got started here. So I couldn't leave it off. Okay, at number 6, we got Secret of Mana. Man, I really love this game. I did kind of debate whether or not to put this one or Secret of Mana 2. Both of them are really good games, but I think, honestly, whatever the critical reasons are for one being better than the other, I think what ultimately pushes Secret of Mana over the top for me is simply nostalgia. I didn't play Secret of Mana 2 until a few years ago, but Secret of Mana I have on the actual Super Nintendo, and it was one of my favorite games for the system. As I said earlier, the battle system was really a welcome change from the turn-based stuff. It was a nice change of pace. This game had, I think, really great graphics for the time. I mean, sure, it was outclassed by, other things like Chrono Trigger, but, in the grand scheme of games on the Super Nintendo, this is really some of the best. This game had some really great boss battles. It had a cool magic system too. I always liked that about this game. I think I just liked the generally fast pace to the dungeon crawling when compared to, the Final Fantasy games. The combat itself just made things move faster, and at the same time that allowed them to throw more enemies at you, which was great because this game has a lot of dungeons and they're all really good. So if you're into running around hacking up cute little monsters, then you'll probably like this game because there's plenty of that in this. Well, I just got done saying that I'm not a Squaresoft fanboy, and yet I've just put 3 Squaresoft titles in my top 10. Man, damn it. I'm sorry, I can't help it. They're good games. I can't really change that. I guess the reason I don't consider myself one is simply because almost all of Square's new games are, well, crap. But it doesn't change the fact that the classics are, well, still classics. Anyway, coming up at number 5, we've got Wild Arms for the PlayStation. This is a really, really good game. At first I thought, what? It's like a Western? I don't understand. Because I see, this intro and it's got Western music, but then it's got giant robots, and I'm thinking, what the hell is going on here? Well, needless to say, it's a good thing. This game, I don't know, generally people consider the production value on this game pretty bad for when the game came out, and I guess in some respects that's true. Namely, the graphics are, I don't know, I guess pretty substandard for when this came out. But I mean, there are other good things about it as far as production, namely the music. I really like the music in this game a lot. You would think the whole Western thing would just seem really out of place, but I don't know, I really like it in this game. I never thought I would like an RPG that had, lots of whistling music, but hey, it works. I think I just like the fact that this game really makes use of, the idea of the clash between technology and nature, which admittedly, I mean, that's not really a new idea. Stuff like Secret of Mana, Tales of Fantasia, and I guess in some ways Final Fantasy VI as well. It kind of reminds me of stuff like on the PC, the game Arcanum. It's like a fantasy world, but with trains and early industrialization technology, and just sort of the contrast between the two. It adds a nice dynamic to it. It gives it sort of a unique feel to it. It doesn't just feel like, oh, generic goblins and orcs or whatever and a bunch of fairies. It doesn't feel like general fantasy. It makes it, unique, which is always good. I really liked how much this game kind of opened up once you got your flying vehicle. I mean, there's a lot of secrets to find, a lot of new summons to get, just all kinds of little secret things that you can, discover in this game. I thought that was a nice touch. This game's got some really nice dungeons with occasionally somewhat difficult puzzles. There were a few times that they kind of tripped me up a little bit, and it took me a while to figure out what to do exactly. But I mean, that's good in a way. I mean, you don't want them to be so easy that you just, immediately just blast through it. So it's nice to have a little challenge there. This game has a pretty good story too, and if you include all the books and various reading materials that you can find in the game, it's pretty well developed actually, and with a pretty satisfying conclusion. The game also features probably the coolest mode of travel I've ever seen in a video game, which is going into a temple, being shot into space, bouncing off a satellite in orbit, and then getting shot back to another temple in another location on the planet. Pretty friggin' sweet.